How's it going, how's it? Hello.
Hello.
That's me.
Hello.
Take one.
Hi everyone, Shane here. This is the Digital Nomad Coffee Club, and we've got a great speaker today who's got a couple of fantastic events coming up. First thing we're going to do today is just hear from our hosts, 4C's Neiman. So if you feel like looking for a co-working space, come and check it out. And here's Monica to say a few words.
Hello, welcome everybody here at 4C's. My name is Monica, I'm right now part of the 4C's family. We are an experimental community that provides a space here for everybody who wants to use it, who wants to work together. It's a co-working space. We also have a co-living space up there. We have great staff helping you with delicious drinks, and we also host a lot of events here. Like this one today, we also have, like, for example, community dinner later on. Tomorrow we have like a small event about productivity tasks, like how can we kind of manage everything that is on our plate, especially when it's sometimes a bit overwhelming for us, and a lot of other bunch of stuff. And so usually all of it is pretty free, and if you say, hey, I like this place, please support it by buying a drink or leave us a review on Google Maps. That is also very supportive for us. Yeah, for the rest, if you want to give back to the community because you really enjoy it, feel free to reach out to also host an event. And yeah, enjoy now the Digital Nomad Coffee Club, and for the rest of the evening.
Thanks very much. Yeah, I've been coming here for about 2 to 3 years since it's open, and they always have really good information and meetings that happen here. Plus, it's a pretty cool co-working space upstairs if you want to check that out later. Over to our speaker. Actually, a couple of community events that are going on this week. Tomorrow, there's a massive thing called the City Life Garden Fair, and it's over at a place called Boon Tawan, and it's on the superhighway as you leave and go out of Chiang Mai. And it's just a great event. It's a charity fundraising event that they've had going for the last 18 or 19 years, and it was originally set up for the tsunami and to raise some funds for that. But then the City Life team, the magazine, kept it going, and now it raises different funds for different foundations around Chiang Mai. So it's on from about 10 a.m. till 10 p.m. tomorrow. Live music, 350 stalls, all the big hotels, all the big restaurants. So it's a really great event if you're in Chiang Mai for tomorrow. And over to Songping, who's going to talk to us about a cool event that's coming up in the next couple of weeks, and also tell us more about what it is to be NetworkedOS.
Thank you, Shane, and also great thanks to 4C's. I've been here, in Chiang Mai for around 4 weeks. I kind of spent most of the days here. It's a very nice community. Okay, so first of all, thank you very much for being here and spending time with me. And today, over the following 20 to 30 minutes, I would like to share a vision with you. A vision has taken shape in the past 6 years. A vision about how we can truly work and live without borders. So today the topic is about building systems for borderless living. I would like to emphasize the word systems because I feel the real freedom of location is not only about just buying a train ticket, a plane ticket. It's about the infrastructure, the tools, the networks, in the end, the systems that enable the sustainable life and the real of freedom. So I would like to start with a paradox. which I see here every day in Chiang Mai. So currently, we see around 7,000 to 12,000 digital nomads living in the city. And globally, we're actually seeing an even bigger number. Last year, it was record estimated 35 million, like digital nomad, or like people working remotely from the world. And in the following 10 years, the number we're seeing is 1 billion. So think about 1 billion remote workers. That's definitely an incredible, huge community. But the reality is, we are kind of living in, people may call it dream, because you work in the cafes with mountain views, you kind of doing like morning skiing, afternoon working, and you move like across the border freely, and we kind of make money out of business, exist entirely online. But we are kind of living in the future, but using the tools from the past. So what's happening in reality is our communities are scattered, like on Facebook events, on WhatsApp chats, on Telegram groups. So it's everywhere, and it's all like chaotic. Meanwhile, we're paying those bank transfer fees with around 5 to 10% like transaction fees, and which requires all those complicated KYC. Every time you enter a new country, you need to like have difficulties with all those like visas, taxes, and like housing. You got all those issues. And so what I'm trying to bring up here is we have the freedom of location, but fragmented systems are holding us back to really enjoy the digital sovereignty we are entitled to have. So a little bit introduction or sharing about myself. So surprisingly, I'm actually trained to be a lawyer. I have a law degree, and which later on I think like the jurisdictional like mentality really helped me a lot to digest very complicated like problems. And later on I worked as a program manager at a design firm. So where I actually pick up the methodology about project management, take all those different complicated stuff within the limited time, schedule, resources, and under the budget. So that's, I think the project management kind of mentality really helps a lot in my following professional careers. And spent a couple of years in Europe, where I got the chance to really immerse in a totally different cultural environment, which I think is also important later on when I like doing marketing and also community building in the Web3 world. So 2018, that's kind of the timing where I stumbled into this rabbit hole, like Web3. And entirely new world, different technology, things people are talking about, like Bitcoin, Ethereum, consensus mechanism, all those jungle words. But later on, I find it really fascinating. It's something new, and everyone's learning, and you got the chance to really immerse in like new stuff every day. After spend, time flies. After spend 6 years leading like the marketing efforts with these blockchain projects, I got a little bit bored because it's kind of still the corporate world. Even though we're talking about decentralized lifestyle, we're talking about like censorship persistence and like regain the like sovereignty about digital assets, etc. I still feel like there's something missing. So I do want to one thing to forgot to mention, like even though I worked for this crypto project for a long time, it's like corporate style they operate. So I actually need to clock in and clock out. So every day. This part I really got like a little bit anxious because I don't want to enjoy like the sovereignty. Like I want myself to decide my schedule and when and how I can finish my task in the daytime. So after 6 years, I finally decided to quit the job, and of course, I still like really fascinated about the Web3 kind of the whole industry, and I am kind of stay, but just approach it in a different way. So that's why what bring me here. So I start to really live in a digital nomadic lifestyle, like starting here in Chiang Mai, and yeah. And meanwhile, I'm doing like startups. So together with 2 other girls, we're funding this NetworkedOS initiatives, which later on I will give more details about what this is about. So what is it? In the nutshell, it's advocates for sovereign and location-independent lifestyle. And actually, what I like to say is, with like currently we're in a historical kind of moment. The technology, the advancement of internet, blockchain, AI, those are so progressively like rapidly, which enable actually those like sovereign location-independent lifestyle accessible to millions of people, because of the technology is mature enough for us, like more and more people can really enjoy this kind of freedom. But there are, of course, multiple kind of hinders or challenges still remain. And here I would like to break it down to 4 major contents. So the first is identity, self-sovereign credentials. So as I mentioned earlier, as digital nomad, you move a lot cross-border, and every time you're gonna need to do KYC, which is know your customer. That's the kind of regulation imposed by all these different corporations or like a public service. You have request to like provide your passport to prove who you are, to verify your address, etc. And is there a way like we can tackle this, like provide a more universal identity solution for digital nomad? And the second, payment. So this is another kind of big challenge Nomads has to face or has to cope with. You kind of receive payment or income from different parts of the world in different currency, and when every time you enter a new country, you need to change for the local money, and you have to bear like the currency kind of there will be additional cost for exchanging monies, and sometimes the exchange rate float, and there will be some damages. And knowledge, so which we think is also very important, and because as digital nomad, there are actually collective wisdoms. I mean, the problems you are facing right now about like how can I get a visa, what's the best place to get the very good price housing, or how should I fix this income or this tax issue? You are not the first one facing it, but like you kind of need to still like dig in really deep into the existing knowledges and to find out what works best for your case. And we're thinking about this knowledge. There must be a better way to organize it, to filter it, and maybe to make it searchable for individual use. And the fourth is about connected communities. So which we think is also very important to foster or to strengthen this network. Yeah. Okay. So actually, I mentioned just 4 pillars, which we think very important to have this sovereignty and location-independent lifestyle. And these are meanwhile the challenges. Here, actually, as a kind of 6-year Web3 marketer, that's kind of the information or like the use case I would like to share. So to facing or to cope with these challenges, Web3 actually offered solutions. I mean, they're not like really already fixing it, but that's the kind of the solution people are discussing and also are put into practice. So talking about the identity we just said, so currently it's fragmented and governed by local kind of officers of like different countries. So Web3 actually, they offer a more universal solution, which is identity verification across borders. So it's called like self-sovereign identity with verifiable credentials. So basically you submit your passport or your personal information just for once, and you get it verified, and they give you credentials. And the next time, actually, what you need to do is not to give the raw document again. You just provide them the credentials. And meanwhile, this will involve some like really technology stuff, which include like zero knowledge proofs or some like some crypto stuff. And the second about payment. So I just mentioned, among all those different currencies, there will be additional cost for international transfers. So the Web3 solution is stablecoin and fiat money transfer. How many of you have heard about stablecoin? Oh, actually that's a lot. So you must have heard about Circle as well. There's the first Circle, C-I-R-C-L-E. There's the first stablecoin issuer listed on Nasdaq. I think they did it this year. So basically they are offering a stablecoin solution. And for example, if you would like to pay a vendor based in Brazil from Chiang Mai, probably traditionally it will involve multiple banks and probably 1 to 2 weeks for processing and additional 5 to 10 percent of processing fee. But if you want to do it with USDC, it actually gonna fulfill the transaction in seconds. And the processing fee, I think, is very limited. And the local vendor, when they receive the USDC, they actually can transfer it to the local fiat they want in a compliant way. And this will, definitely save us a lot of money and a lot of time. And the third one, about fragmented information. That's also the challenges I touched base earlier. And the Web3 solution is about foster a community with incentives, so with tokenomics embedded. So to put it in a simple way, basically people will be incentivized to provide quality information. And basically, we're forming up a privileged group of people with a token as a kind of value transit in between, and which means we are also maintain the quality of the community. I guess I just set up the privacy setting too high for my laptop, and okay, so. For this fragmented information, definitely we'll leverage token economy or AIs to make up probably some digital nomad specific AI agent. So just imagine you may have a personal assistant where you put all those collective wisdom of previous digital nomad and it can help you to get the information you need in a faster manner. Okay, so I'm not talking one piece here, one piece there. and move back to the networked OS. So OS is more about operating systems. So what I would like to emphasize here is, like your laptop, it's not running like all those different apps on the hardware directly. You actually need a middle layer, which is the operation system, and like Mac OS, Linux, Windows. So what we are proposing here is the operation system for networked group for digital nomad. So we have all those different tools available, which I just mentioned, like the identity solution, the payment solution, the incentivized communities. These are all just tools. They're still fragmented. They're still floating everywhere. And meanwhile, we have the foundation building up, like the internet, the mobile, and also like the blockchain, the AI. These are all the more generic technology. So between the technology and the application, what we're trying to do here is fulfill or is building an operation system in the middle. So that's what this networked OS is all about. Okay, another new question. Why Chiang Mai? Why now? So I kind of have conversation with my partners talking about where we want to start or where we want to initiate this networked OS. And we all think Chiang Mai is a very good choice for multiple reasons. So first, Chiang Mai actually serves a very good geographic location, and you got a very diverse and enriched community here. So somehow it's actually bridging Western and Eastern. You got a bunch of Chinese developers who want to ship their products into international markets. Meanwhile, I also talked to some more Western background kind of project owners, founders. They want to enter in the Chinese-speaking kind of markets. And so geographically diverse. And also in Chiang Mai, I think we somehow call it the capital of digital nomad. It already built up the ecosystem for digital nomads. We got co-working space, very nice community overseas, Yellow, Palm Space. We got plenty here in Chiang Mai. So, and once again, we kind of have the foundation. And still, Chiang Mai is a very good destination for digital nomad. So it already attract a lot of people. And I got the feeling, in the end, more and more people will come. So it's also a very good place, of course, for multiple reasons, cost effective, you got very chill vibe, and the infrastructures, etc. So in the end, we feel it's a good place. We start our experimental kind of trial. Okay, as mentioned at the very beginning, what we're trying to do is actually a bigger kind of meetup, a summit. So it's called NetworkedOS Summit, which is gonna happen 6th of December. And the venue we have chosen is Palm Space. So it's not both is not good. It's just because we feel it's not big enough. We do want to host a bigger audience. So the conference will be around 80 to 100 people. Yeah, and it's afternoon session. So starting from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. We're gonna a half day, kind of half intensive kind of presentation, panel discussion, and another half more for networking. We want the people to talk. So what differentiates our events from other conferences? I mean, here in Chiang Mai, you got all those different conferences, like SEO conference last week, and the Digital Nomad Summit. I think it's also coming back next year. So for us, what we're trying to do is bring 3 different end-shaped points. So first one, this time, we actually choose a very unique perspective for the events. As I'm trying to explain earlier, the networked OS is a very big kind of vision and also a lot of things need to be done, and we can't achieve it just in one conference. So this is just a starting point, and the kind of the spare part for this starting point we choose is the SaaS and the product kind of focus. So this conference will focus more on those digital nomad or remote workers who are working on SaaS and on like app development. So people who are developing it, marketing it, or help to grow like the user base for those products are the main target audience we want to engage for this event. And of course, like the second differentiation point, it will be more about the two kind of directions bridge. So one is more from the Chinese kind of background. Because of my Chinese background, we got a chance to really get connection with all those solo developers back in China. So they are actually have a great kind of demand for get better understanding of international markets, Asian, like Southeast Asia market, for example. And meanwhile, we also have a bunch of like product owners here based in Chiang Mai. They have like interest or passion for like Chinese market. So we will focus more on this like two sides bridges. And the third point, we want to make sure it's people who are really building on this stuff, not just laughing or like just more sales pitching. We want the people who already done this or who has a really big passion on it and to really practically do something. So this is why we keep this conference 80 to 100 people. Not too big, not too small, will be more intimate, more quality conversation. So as I mentioned earlier, so 4 profiles, kind of 4 types of audience we want to engage. Like developers, creators who are working on their SaaS and app products, and growth operators who actually helped those projects scale, and also like penetrating or go to markets. So community builders, this is, I'm talking about digital nomad, like founders, those type of communities. And the solopreneurs, so that's a variation. I'm not sure, like, are we still using this word anymore? So it's part of like entrepreneur, but instead of a huge team, a big company, you just do it on your own or in a very small team. So that's the 4 types of people. So we are actually approaching to the end of my sharing. Here are the like 3 action items. If you wanna attend this summit, we actually do charge fee for like the entrance, but if your background falling into the 4 profiles I just mentioned, we offer free tickets. So you can just scan the QR code and join our Telegram group. Tell us your background, we will offer the free tickets. And of course, the middle one, if you think you have expertise and also enough kind of knowledge would like to share with the audience, the speaker application is still open. If you can't make it this time, we intended to do this like continuously. So we are happy to like establish connections, and we can always have another chance to provide a big stage for you. Yep. So last, if you want to connect with me or NetworkedOS, you can always follow us on Media, WeChat, RedNote, and also Telegram. Yeah. So that's all for my sharing today. And because we don't have, a super huge group, which I think is even better, so we can have like more conversation. Like if you have questions, I'm happy to share.
Okay, so now question time, over to us. Anyone got a question? Question? No?
So going back to the passport and the payment, overcoming government and banking seems like an awful big task. How do you see yourself doing that?
I mean, definitely it's not like an individual or just one team efforts. But I do see like more and more people are like, how to say, looking at this or perceive this as a serious like task. And there are Web3 kind of solutions. I mean, some projects, they are working on this and offering like all those various solutions. Take for example, the identity. So I'm not sure, have you heard about ZK Pass? So ZK, the Zero Knowledge Pass. So this project, what they are trying to do basically is they need to collect your personal data for once, and they actually encrypt your information with applying the zero knowledge proof, this encryption kind of technology, and they need another kind of third party giving credentials. So it's actually multi-players work together, and somehow they can prove who you are without disclose your raw documents. So make it more easy to understand. For example, in China, you are allowed to drink, I think, starting the age of 18. But every time, actually, when you buy the drink, you need to show him your ID. But there's a lot of information on the ID. Not only about your age, it's also about your address, your ID number, etc. But for the convenience store, they don't need that much information. They just need to know you're over 18. So the blockchain or the Web3 solution is, they give you the credential, or they verify your ID at the beginning. And later on, when the convenience store asks, is he qualified or is he over 18? The credential shows yes. And they don't have access to your ID. And they don't see the information they don't need. So that's kind of the solution, which is ongoing. Yeah, but this is a very abstract, simple example. Yes.
But if you got ZK Pass on your phone,
Yes.
you give your phone to someone else, how do they know that it's your phone and your ZK Pass?
This is a very great question. And there are some related technology which some of them actually use biometric kind of information, or they use fingerprint, so they kind of connect together. Because like you said, if it's the credential itself is not living on its own, it's also depending on like physical equipment. So still you need other like supporting proofs. Yeah. But in the end, what we're trying to deliver is a decentralized solution.